Oh,
Hey, good
dang.
morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know what it is. It's First Formation Morning Sports. So he got me, your boy Trey. We got Ron G from the Speakeasy. Hey, it's about to go down. As you all know, Bishop's in Las Vegas. Most likely having a good time. His first time there at 51 years, but hey, now is a better time. Ron, what's good with you this morning, brother?
WGO, WGO, WGO. I do Bishop's line. Hope you having a blast in Vegas, Bishop.
Yes, sir.
Don't get too crazy. Control yourself.
We don't need, we don't need to see first formation co-host and whatever line follows after that because you done turned up in Vegas, fam.
Before you go into the casino, make sure you got your line set on the money that you are allowed to lose. You ain't allowed to go above that line, no matter what they say. Well, I'm doing good, Trey. I'm ready for game 4, as I told you. I'm excited.
Yes, yes. As we know, just as Ron's talking about, as y'all know, tonight, Game 4 of the NBA Finals to take place. Still in Boston, but we're going to still see how that turns out. Good morning. What's good with you, Key? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Glad to see you falling in this morning. Uh, Today, like we said, today is that day. That's basically yes. That's how we can say. Like Ryan was just asking me, I could assure I will be able to see the game this tonight, as I currently don't have anything or any pressing issues and anything that's going to stop me from being able to see. So I'll be front and center, be able to check it out, so I can have more of an intricate idea or reference to tonight's game as we but of course there's some stuff in which we're going to talk about uh prior to tonight prior to figure out to have this conversation what's really going on as we Boston this for good looks at meeting up with uh Golden State tonight. So of course hold up, um
Stephen Curry, you better show up, boy.
and it's funny you say that. So we could kind of like start there. So Steph, as we know, took a little bit of a fall, a slight injury, uh, last game, Game 3, in which we thought we may not see him. Another particular injury to the left foot. After you, as you know, interesting enough, Marcus Smart rolled up on his foot, causing him to be out a little over a month towards the end of the season. Here we are, uh, some time later, same almost the same situation, getting on the ground, and Steph Curry gets rolled up on by a bigger body in Horford, in which uh, he gingerly walked around. He got taken out the game. Um, in which Steve Kerr came on and said he did not take Steph Curry out the game due to a problem or injury. He took Steph Curry out because they was getting beaten by 14 points with 2 minutes left in the game. He didn't see no reason to have his star still in the game.
Right.
Um, so of course now we have it. Steph is basically saying like he's playing Game 4. Just clear cut to be said. He's playing Game 4. Um, yeah. So where you think we at with that, Ron? Does it should be that should it not be? You're the star of the team. You have injuries, but this is like we got to take in consideration. This isn't just a playoff game or anything like this. This is the finals. It could the this game could set precedence in any form. What's good,
Exactly.
Coach Uriah?
This isn't just a game. This is Steph Curry's legacy
Mm,
on the line. This game tonight is going to be what we talk about for the next decade in regards to the Golden State dynasty,
hmm
where they rank all time. Steph Curry's legacy. Is he really better than KD? For the
Ooh.
past couple of years, we've had four main stars: LeBron, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and Steph. And most people would say Steph's probably the weakest of that group. Would you?
Ooh, I'm still out on Giannis. Although Giannis is ascending, I'm still obviously, of course, KD. I mean KD and LeBron mainly because of KD's size, but
Yeah,
Giannis, I'm still out for. Although, but
right.
Steph, I think Steph adds a different aura to the game, if you could say. I mean, of course, he's a shooter. He's probably the most deadliest shooter in this era in NBA history. When you go back to the birds and all that type of stuff. So, but he's definitely, you know what?
And
Go ahead, go ahead. Because I was about to say something, but I read something the other day by Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady feels like he shouldn't. This conversation right now we're having shouldn't even be had. He should not be in the talks. He should not be in certain talks, even though we're not talking about LeBron Jordans and the LeBrons and all. I mean Jordans and Kobe's and stuff like that. But Tracy feels like Steph should not be in those conversations. But
guess
that's
what?
the story. Yes, sir.
Steph, 34 years old, down 2-1 to a way better team. We've been established. The
Yes,
Celtics is
they're a better
all
team.
around
Yes.
better than you, Steph. He has the opportunity to shut everybody up, which I thought he was going to do game three. I told you I was expecting the 40 piece.
Uh huh.
Did not happen. I've been bummed out. But regardless, Steph, come on. And he needs his Robin. I don't know what's going on with Draymond in these podcasts, but
Draymond's like, I gotta get at some point. I will leave this hardwood behind. I gotta secure my future. Yes, coach. We was just talking about this. The finals is different. This is a different time. No one, like I said, no one cares about your feelings. Is even get down or lay down at this point. And it's unfortunate to even have that mindset, but it's like it's things are different. Things are expected of different people. Let's just be honest and be clear. What's
right,
good, Freddie? Different things are expected of different people, and this is no different. And especially when you're on a huge stage, think of all that backlash LeBron used to get for not showing up at certain times. No one wants to hear that you're dehydrated. It's things that you could have did to prevent it. No one wants to hear any of this stuff. No one wants to hear about MCL tear. You see, or I mean, Achilles heels tear. You're still in the game. Like no one wants to hear all that. So it's like Steph, got to step up, get to the plate. 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes. Steph Curry, you're on. Uh, but yeah,
you're on. Oh,
so it's that even saying and that to be to even give a little a different aspect, a different side of the coin. Robert Williams from the third from Boston. He's dealing with a lot of knee soreness, as has been said, often on the court. And hey, he came, he showed and proved. He didn't have a 27-point night like Steph did, but to his equivalent, he had a 8, 10, and 4 block night that kept Golden State out the paint and basically
completely
had an
shut him down.
impact with a plus. With a plus, I think it was 21. Like these things has happened. Steph, you could do the same. Uh, so we expect better, Steph. That's all we're saying. We'd like to see a complete shellacking and showing tonight where you assert your dominance and you show that you're here and Boston is not. Uh, well, actually, going of course to some other things, and I don't know, Ron, if you heard or if you've seen. Of course, we know LeBron has his own podcast, so to speak, that's shown on HBO called The Shop, in which well, the shop this week, or I guess for the shop this week, something that's going to be talked about is LeBron states he wants to own a team. Like he's been saying that for a while. We know LeBron wants to be own a team. He's currently a owner of the Liverpool Football Club, as well as a owner or has stake in football, Liverpool football, as well as the Red Sox. But now he's always talked about he wants to own a NBA franchise. Now he puts a city to the NBA franchise. That city being Las Vegas.
Beautiful, beautiful story. Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. It's gonna be. It's inevitable, just like Thanos. LeBron is gonna get him an NBA team, just like the ghost he's been chasing, MJ. He's already got the net worth and equity.
Yes, billionaire Brian.
The NBA is definitely. I'll probably say by 2025 we'll have two more NBA teams.
Mm. So I know. Hold on. Let's go back a second. Coach Uriah say thinking the finals would determine a lot of people's mind. If Steph Curry is viewed as a top 10 player, losing will only allow people to continue to question him. Sitting out would be detrimental. So we definitely know he's already not going to sit out, Coach. So I guess we can remove that detriment portion of it. But now it does bring into question what he does at this point. I mean, if he's Ellen, we can see. We just want to see a hard play to where you could say basically the old cliche saying left it all on the floor. We want to be able to see that. We know he's especially his teammates should be able to rally around him if they know that he's ailing to help hopefully pick up, say help to pick up the slack. One thing we can say is tonight won't be the end all be all, but it could be a don't push me because I'm close to the ledge situation.
You on
If
point today, Trey.
I, I was on. You know what? I'm on my jukebox. You know what I'm saying? Everyone shout out to the 80s babies. You know about the jukebox back in the day. Go order it. I ran up my cable bill a couple of times. Took a couple of L lumps for it. But in any case, that's what we have in that case. So I would say that he's that if Steph doesn't show up tonight, that hopefully someone else does that helps to shoulder the load for him. Draymond, a
Nope.
triple double, as you know, say I heard Ron said earlier. Draymond needs or seen it in the messenger. He needs a triple double. He needs something. He needs to does something to recover the actions of him being not being here, which we're going to talk about later in the segment. Clay, you want to quiet the talks of Jordan Poole basically being your replacement? Hey, show up and show and prove. Jordan Poole, you want to amplify the talks of you being Clay's replacement? Show up and show and prove, and give Steph some help. He's
Right.
doing it himself.
We haven't had a Jordan Poole sighting in a long time.
Outside of what pull up from half court, that shouldn't just be your only highlight in this aspect. So definitely need some.
Agreed. And can
Vegas gets the team before
just
Seattle.
just a week or two ago,
Mm-hmm.
the Warriors was playing Dallas Mavericks, and a number three on the Warriors had a gigantic coming out party. And we was like, oh my gosh, Mr. Andrew Wiggins has put it together.
Uh
All
huh.
this time we've been talking about he is a bum, he's this. Now he's been playing exceptional defense
Yes.
on Jason Tatum. However, Andrew Wiggins, you are, dare I say, in that same ballpark. Like we know he's not Jason Tatum level, but he's
Yes.
six
True that.
nine, he's well built, he's athletic, can jump out the gym. He he should be able to contribute more to these Warriors on offense, without a
And,
doubt.
and what's funny is we spoke about that, or I think it was Coach Uriah who we scoffed and laughed at the fact of he is like Jason Wiggins is going to be the factor. He needs to he canceling out Jason Tatum, and oddly enough, as you just was talking about, he has in a sense canceled out Jason Tatum some way, some and but of course that canceling or that whatever he's been doing to Jason Tatum to hold him at bay because we can't necessarily cancel out because he's Jason is basically outscoring him. But you know, what I'm saying there's other things in which obviously Wiggins is doing to Jason Tatum, but it in reference to that, I think that additionally has allowed for Jaylen Brown to go off. And now with Jaylen Brown going off, it's like when Jaylen Brown goes off, there's no answer, and Golden State has no answer for anything and doesn't know what to do. And next you know, that opens the door for Smart, Horford, and then of course here comes Jason bringing in the rest, bringing in two bottles in both hands, like let's turn up. So it's like I'm really starting to think that there's probably really no answer for Golden State at this point to keep pace with Boston. If they win
There's
if Golden State gets game 4 tonight, kudos, we you know what I'm saying, but it's what we expected. We expected you to win. So we expect you to win games. So it's like, okay, what is that actually saying for, saying, to a fan base, to media, to us? If Golden State wins tonight, we picked them to win the championship, so it's expected to win. However, what's going on is Boston is thoroughly showing their hand. We thought it was an anomaly for what happened in Game 1, and we took it as such because we was like, oh, say, even after it took a run of sorts for Boston to get that. And that's what we looked at, because Golden State came back the next game and thoroughly put it down. Uh, but then what we see in Game 3 is a complete different turnaround. So it's like, at this point, we don't know what to expect or what's happening. But we definitely need to see more. And Wiggins, the professor just put you on notice. We need to see
Right.
more. Pull up. That's what you need. Pull up, Wiggins. Um, what else we have? So let's say in the finals for the current portion. As we said, Steph Curry is expected to play. We expected to play. That's a no brainer. In that, the team did not practice. They basically coined it as a recovery day. Which I first I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, because especially, but a couple of things came to mind after I read the recovery day. One being that, is this to hide the fact that Steph Curry is actually really ailing, and two, they call it a recovery day, but the players with low minutes have to go shoot around and go on the courts. How do you feel about that, Ron?
I think Steph Curry is definitely ailing, and
Mm-hmm.
the whole team is. Um, my biggest realization, especially when it comes to Draymond, how he just completely disappeared in Game 3. Like, man, our Splash Brothers, y'all old. Like, you can't
30s.
bring it like you used to do every night. He's gonna have to take some games off. Clay is coming off multiple injuries. You know his body hurt. Gary Payton the second coming off an injury. You know his body is hurting. Steph Curry keep tweaking his ankles and legs.
Mm.
You know he's hurting. Like the Warriors is banged up.
That is so
Can't
true.
use
And
the
then when you
rest,
look at
coach.
it, Otto Porter, same thing. Just coming off like Iguodala, who we ain't even seen. Same thing. Like it's plenty. You got people who we ain't seen all. Like a question came, but well, I'll wait till we get there. I'll bring that up. But I completely get the sentiment and thought. But of course, on the opposite side of Williams, like we was just talking about, Williams, who is on a short break. This is the shortest break in the finals, and he's still dealing with the left knee soreness, which can be an issue for him. But although he has been getting praises, as Coach Uduka basically stated that Williams is the today's modern day center, and that excuse me, and of course he gets praise from his own court mate in Al Horford, that said it's gracious to have him there. There's a back door to play to be there to be their rim protector. Um, so their most, as we said, their starting five is a little more adept and a little more talented than the Golden State starting five across the board on average. Does is it this safe to say, with Roberts being banged up, that it's a problem? Is that almost equates to the same thing in which you talk about the whole Golden State squad being banged up for the most part?
Yeah, exactly. And the unfortunate thing about the Golden State Warriors is who's their rim attacker. Who they got to go at the big man, drive into the paint time after time after time after again, and get Robert Williams one tied up into foul trouble, and then go at his injuries, his weakness.
And I think, of
Nobody.
course, yeah, and that's it, because they don't. It's no one that's going to consistently do that, because in doing that, I think you have to sit up and start taking a beating. So we all know, like you said, they have a lot of people that's basically out. Years ago, I think that would have been Clay, because Clay, saying, used to be there for it. Um, you would think, uh, if they had
I
someone
heard
like a
they got a 6'9" small forward, right?
I was about to say, if Kaminga, I think Kaminga would be that body. I think I could see Kaminga doing that. Hey, even
Andrew
Wiggins.
Wiggins.
Yeah,
Yes.
Wiggins. Yes. Wiggins. He's like he's gonna say, I'm very sure he's there for it. Like you pick Wiggins, you picked on Luca, all that, you know what I'm saying, rah and everything like that. Now, where you at, fam? Like these are those moments and stuff like that where bodies should be everywhere. We should be seeing clip after clip of posterizations and everything, or at least an attempt. Some of the greatest attempts have been put out there. Let's not forget the time that Shannon Green, that I can't see his name. Shannon from Los Angeles almost ended somebody with a leap from one step inside the arc and almost caught a body. We remember that. We remember that. So
Mm.
let's not. So let's you know what I'm saying, let's put some effort into it. Start to draw them fouls in one way or another. After the crowds out and make it fantastic again, because that's where we're starting to lack. We're starting to see a thorough beat down in some aspects. Wiggins, we need you again. Another call out for Wiggins. Okay, coach says ownership is on Steph, the greatest shooter of all time, and Curry, legendary coach who has been 6. I was about to say legendary. Are we calling is Curry legendary?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we give him legendary statuses already, Steve Kerr?
Oh, Steve Kerr? I thought we
Yes,
said
Steve Kerr.
Curry. Oh no, no.
No, we know Curry
Steve
is.
Steve Kerr's out of here. The reason why the Warriors are in this predicament is because of his coaching. Um, and game one, he took Steph Curry out for 20 minutes after dropping 21 points in the first quarter. And in game three, when he got hot in the third quarter, he took him out and rested him again. It's the NBA Finals. Um, how he was not prepared to put Draymond Green in a better position for game three. I'm looking at Steve Kerr in all kinds of ways for a lot of different things. The substitution, Jordan Poole sitting, not being able to work out him and Clay's minutes a little bit better. Because I'm one to say I feel like Jordan Poole should be starting tonight.
Mm.
Now,
In which he may.
If Clay has a good game like he did in Game Three, 25 points, I think he shot close to 50%. Then I'll be quiet. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like that Clay's coming back again. We'll see.
They were too far out for we might get a game for Clay. Coach Daniel says, how bad was Draymond Green? There have been 2,553 instances of a player logging at least 34 minutes in the NBA Finals game. He is the first one of the foul out with fewer than 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Arguably the least impactful game in NBA Finals history. Let's talk about this, Ron, because you started and you said, is it a situation in where, do you think the situation in which the disdain for Clay as a player in Boston with the "FU Draymond" chants being out there is starting to maybe for the most part pick at and get to to Draymond. Of course, his wife
Absolutely not.
had a tweet or a Instagram post in which she said, tough loss tonight, but no way, shape, or form should fans be allowed to chant obscenities at players. Are they not human? Is someone standing at your job saying off the wall things to you? Then she tags the NBA in the audacity to have a whole code of conduct card at every seat about fans and their behavior and how they could be ejected from a game or banned, but a whole crowd section, numerous people get to chat "F you, Draymond," and then she tags her humming or call him a bitch or MFer, and nothing like that's okay. Warriors fans would never. My kids at the game tonight hearing that mess, very disgusting of little hashtag. I mean, at Celtic fans. I think we had conversations before. Myself, you, Coach Uriah, in which we talked about this, Bishop, in which we talked about this because it was things in which we felt that was displayed upon why Westbrook was. While during the regular season in regards to Westbrook. So does this conversation change, or are we having the same conversation now that we had this? Now that Draymond's wife is Hazel Renee is calling out the NBA, the fans, and everything like that for this, or do we continue to keep that same energy where it's like, you know what, it's a part of the game?
With all due respect, Miss Green, please hush. Um, as long as the fans, do they not pay for their tickets?
True that
Do they not
they
put all
do,
this money in the billionaire's pocket? The
they
fans is
do.
the reason the players get paid hundreds of millions of dollars. And in my personal opinion, as long as they're not causing no one physical harm, as long as they're not pouring drinks and throwing cans at people, or the worst, after the NBA finals going and burning Bill Russell's house, that's
Mm.
the habitual line stepping. As long as no harm is coming to these players, oh fans, y'all better act up. I need more of it.
So I wonder, is this like starting to take a personal toll on Draymond? As we, of course, like
No.
Coach Daniel says, Uriah, this is why Draymond is getting killed. He keeps talking and not producing. Everyone has a job to do, and definitely is not doing his. We
Is
have
is
here.
this is
Go
this
ahead.
is this is this not what who Draymond is?
Yes, he's basically giving his case of his own medicine, seemingly.
Right. And Draymond comes out and says, "Y'all want me to not be Draymond? Then there's no point to me being on this team. I'm not going to be effective. I'm not going to contribute." Well, he's not really contributing now, but he said, "I got to be Draymond."
And
It is
then,
not a skill. The NBA, you have two type of people. You have
uh
skill and you have will. You're either a skill player or you're a will player, and he's a will.
huh. And then Coach Rod comes back to so for it to basically be stopped because Klay Thompson also has something to say as well. But it says stopping players today are sensitive. This is why guys are from the '90s state. They as soft as hell ignore it and play the game as long as they do, like you said, do not touch the players and move on, or the family members or anything else like that. Let's keep it. Let's keep it pushing. Move on. Don't allow that to become an equalizer for them because, like we said, we have always seen or thought Draymond to be the ultimate when it comes to these games and the mindsets and things of that nature. And we're not getting um, the media attacked Draymond before Game 3, of course. They pointed in the missed out text and basically called him out for being thrown out. It played into how he performed in Game 4. It will play into how he performs for Game 4. So that's true. So Coach Uriah, Ron, Coach Daniel, do y'all believe that Draymond answers the bell this time, or does he? Do we see the same thing that we see in the game that we just saw in Game 3, or do we see a different Draymond?
We're absolutely. I'm positive we're going to get game two, Draymond. Um,
Did play. So get Game 2 great minds saying I would hope to be that makes more not for entertainment but just for a better game when Draymond is playing together. Draymond has yet to score double figures in points as yet, and for what reason is unbeknownst to us. But I mean, has if we're expecting and waiting on Draymond to score double digit points, then we're waiting on the long thing. We're basically uh, basically it's already an issue or a problem if you need Draymond's points in order to get the game done. Although you do want to see something given, as yesterday Cornelius was on and he was talking about that, like what saying where, why, when, what has Draymond given? Like he doesn't give anything. He gives other, I mean, his tangible things in which he provides. But if we're just waiting for his points to be a factor, then we're waiting on the wrong thing. Astonishing that the fact that the last 13 games that the official Scott Foster has called for the Celtics, they have won 13 points in games. Scott Foster's calls for the Celtics. It could be a coach. We've talked about that before. We do know that Scott Foster has won. I mean, every game, the last couple of games, uh, as I seen the meme that had Scott Foster was in a Celtics uniform, and they called him the sixth man. So it remains to be seen. Hopefully, that could be something that could be demolished and taken away. If not, then maybe it's something to look into. I'm very sure the NBA has been looking into it just to cross their T's and dot their I's. But it remains to be seen. Uh, Something else to take a quick look at in Gander when we're looking at this game is Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has been a consistent. Well, we can almost say a quiet assassin, but not really as much as we did talk about yesterday. That he might be the front runner for the ladder front runner for the series MVP. Later, he is currently on the ladder, which we'll talk about a little later for the NBA MVP award ladder through the NBA. But Jaylen Brown has been consistent. He's been the person that's been there. So would you say that at this point Jaylen Brown is more of an issue than Jason Tatum is?
That's an interesting way to put that question. That's a very interesting. Is he more of an issue than what Jason Tatum is? I got it. He is when Jason has more turnovers than assists.
Okay.
When Jason is playing ball, game one, 13 assists, two turnovers. Game
Uh-huh.
three, 9 assists, two turnovers. That is the game that the Celtics won, and it wasn't close.
Mm-hmm.
Game two, we know that wasn't the case, and all they had was Jaylen Brown. He's been the
Mm.
consistent one. He's not going through these lows and peaks and valleys. He's consistent. He's balling, and absolutely the Celtics are relying on him solely. Like
Correct.
that's what they did in Game Three. They said, "Coach, we're going to come out and we're going to go through Jaylen Brown." They're the one. They focused on him, making sure he got going to start the game because hopefully they know that their star Jason Tatum is going to eventually come through. But if you're starting the game and focusing on one player to get you going, get this car rolling, what does that mean? That we're kind of going through
Mm.
him, right, Trey? Like you
Yes,
are our
correct.
starter. You grab the baton first and get us going, Jalen. Um, he deserves the final MVP right now, and it says a lot about Jason. It
Mm.
says a lot about
It
Jason.
goes back to what you were saying. Is he ready for the spotlight? It's like we've been watching Jason the whole time, and like is other people over here like, hey, jumping up and down, hey, look at me. And so finally we're starting to see that light is starting to traverse and you know what I'm saying and take a right turn and you're starting to go from the power forward position, small forward position to the two. It was like, oh, you play too, huh? We're starting that's starting to be more talks. Their backcourt actually is starting to be a little more consistent, and which is starting to be a problem. You can't, like we said before, we expected Jaylen Brown to be able to get his. That's expected. 24, 25 points from Brown, 27, 32 points from Tatum. That was expected. But when you still start to get 24 points from Marcus Smart, 18, 20 points from Horford, 20 points from White, 15 points from Williams, 10, 12 points from Robert Williams, that's where we start to have problems. Pritchard, 12 points. Those are the issues in which Golden State doesn't want. But those are the issues that they've obviously been getting. So I know one thing that's also expected, as well as like you just so eloquently put to us, Jalen's going to be fed.
Right.
I can see a heavy dose of them throwing everything they can at Curry to push to kind of see to check that foot out and be like, okay, let's see if he's built for this. Do you think Curry's built for this tonight?
So the Celtics chess move after they got abolished in Game Two.
Mm-hmm.
In Game Three, they said, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take Draymond Green out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
How'd they do that? They kept him engaged and active on defense with Jaylen Brown, and a few others.
Mm-hmm.
Attacking. Just like we were saying,
Straight
the
line.
Warriors need
Mm-hmm.
somebody to attack Robert Williams. They
Uh-huh.
did that to Draymond, and he was completely out of it. Game three. I feel like game four, the Celtics will be smart to make sure no Warriors get going. How do they
Mm.
do that? By letting Steph cook. Go ahead, Steph. It's the Kobe effect. How teams usually be like, Kobe, go ahead and do your thing, but as long as everybody else ain't doing nothing, we good. That I feel like that would be smart for the Celtics. You can let me know your thoughts. But go ahead, Steph Curry. Go ahead and cook. But what we not gonna let you do is get Poole involved. Let you get Steph involved. No. They're not doing anything.
I think that's I think that's key in the access. I mean, of course, a couple of coaches are on. I don't want y'all to give y'all a hand for the most part,
Who
but
I know one of our coaches always coming at me. That's
Coach
would love
Uriah.
y'all opinion. What would be y'all strategy for the Warriors coaches?
So I see here one of Coach Uriah is like, I don't understand the hype around Jordan Poole. He is awful on defense. He can't play him in the finals like that. He's simply overrated.
Right,
In which he's been standing on, which we got to talk about that. I think we did speak about that the other day. Like, we know Jordan Poole can't guard anything, but it's his offense. So, but coaches, Ron just put out there, Coach Daniel, Coach Uriah, what would be your strategy in reference to this? Would you agree to let if you were the coach for Golden State, for Boston, would you go ahead and let Steph go off? Like, hey, Steph is not going to beat us. There's no way that Steph is about to be able to score
right,
70 points in this game and be able to outscore us as a team. Are y'all is that a fair assumption that you would do that, or are you doing something different at this point
right. You can
to
either
try to
run
say,
that box and one. We're gonna focus on Steph and shut him down. And I believe Steph is a good enough point guard to take that and like, okay, well, Steph runs around. He doesn't even really have the ball like that. So that's
yeah,
the that's the difficult part about the Warriors is you chasing him around regardless, but you can still keep extra people watching him as he goes and back cuts on screens easily. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Celtics do. I can't wait.
okay, Coach Uriah states he would get physical with Curry, pick him up half court, frustrate him all game, put him Curry in a pick and roll, and start targeting him all game.
Okay. So he's saying the complete
Exposed.
opposite of me.
Yeah,
That he's
he
talking
wants
more
to
of a box and
he
one.
wants to lock him down. Yeah, he wants to
Right.
lock him down. Stop him. Cut his water off.
Right. Right.
Okay.
And then that
I
if
can see
that's the case, we're gonna need
bad
triple
bad boy
double Draymond.
tactics. Bad boy tactics.
Knock him out. And the Celtics got the personnel to do that, man. Marcus Smart, go add him. Robert Williams, every time he come into the paint, you giving him a forearm
Touch
to the
him up.
back.
hmm Touch him up. As Shaq would say, touch him up. uh, so which gives a point. But and now it's funny that you said that, Rod. That they have the personnel to do that. Someone that we haven't seen much of that was big for them is Grant Williams. Do you foresee Grant getting back into the groove and reinstating himself into the series?
Well, after game three, after the Warriors' third quarter surge, we did see the Williams on Williams effect.
Uh
Grant
huh.
Williams and Robert Williams did a great job in the fourth quarter of holding it down defensively and pretty much shutting the Warriors out. No, this is our home court. We're winning this one. Will we see that again? Hmm. I think the Celtics is going to have to. That was
hmm
one of their best strategies, and we saw Derek White, one of their great players, get completely benched in the third and fourth quarter. He didn't play the last 18 minutes of game three because Grant got so much extra playing time. So I think the Celtics will continue with that.
Okay, and as you see, Coach Uriah continues with his statements of Curry is the only thing that the Warriors have at this point. Of course, if you remove him, you cut off the head of the snake. But I think that do you think it's a fair assessment that you cut off that head, that the other head, known as Clay Thompson, grows?
Yeah, I mean, right now, play is trending up. He had a great game three. Does that mean he is coming into rhythm, or was it anomaly?
Hmm.
We're used to one huge game by Clay. Was that the one huge game this time around? Oh, the Warriors are praying it's not.
So, someone else to bring into the fray. We talked a little bit about Draymond his disappearing act, but we expect Draymond to most likely come back tonight or have some type of a glimmer of a night tonight. What about Looney? Why is it that Looney? I mean, it's not, and I feel a certain type of way talking about this because it's not like Looney has been that dude, you know, what I'm saying for the for the Golden State Warriors, but he is a dude that's on the Golden State Warriors, a big body, and he seems to be rescinded. Like we see him glimpses in against Dallas. Why not the glimpses against Boston when you're most needed for the most part? All that other stuff
Right,
is preliminarily. It's
right.
preliminary. Like now is the time. Like that. All that is a train up to what you're engaged in right now.
Now we're going to talk about another reason why the Warriors lost game three. Boston,
Ah, okay.
47 rebounds. Golden State,
Mm,
31, I think. Um,
yes. Uh,
that's just, we outmanning you. You know all about that. I'm taking over this paint. We getting all the offensive rebounds. We getting extra shots. We getting all it. Getting out rebound by 20 rebounds, Trey? It was 20. That's almost 20 rebounds.
And
You
then
play a lot of
and then
hoops.
32 points on the other end. Like it's like that's just two double negatives what you're looking
Exactly.
at.
Say his name again, Kevin Looney. You are the Warriors' big man. What's up? What's up? Woo! Matter of
I,
fact, now I gotta look up how much rebounds Looney had in game three.
and that's what I wondered. Like, do Steph and them be like, God, hey, like looking at him like, wow, come on, bro. Like saying that part. It's like it's got to be tough for Looney because he's not. Saying he's definitely maybe not even a role player, a supporting player at this point. Looney decline is on Steve Kerr. Okay, but coach putting on Steve Kerr. He only played 17 minutes last game. Kerr emphasized scoring over defense. He went Poole over Looney and it showed. Again,
Mm,
another slight that coach points out the fact that that Poole plays no defense.
mm,
Again, if that's the case, that's a bad look. Defense wins ball games, as we all know.
mm.
Unless there's no defense applied, then you just let a team go run roughshod and put up all these points.
Well, you know who I honestly Wiggins. He went 1 for 6 from the 3 point, and
Mm.
he played the most minutes on the whole team. He played 40 minutes. No one else played more minutes than him. I know how effective. We keep talking about how he's doing incredible on Tatum,
Uh
but
huh.
what if we cut? Why is Wiggins playing the most minutes on our team again? I know he's the youngest, he's the most athletic, he's built for it. But why not take away like 10 of his minutes and go with like a Draymond, Kevin Looney, Steph Curry, Clay, and Jordan Poole lineup? The Warriors did it a little bit with all three of their guards starting, Curry, Poole, and Thompson. I would like to see that line up a little bit more with Looney and Draymond Green. I don't know. They gotta try something. I can't. Kurt might try it tonight. We'll see.
Why do you think we haven't seen the beloved Def lineup?
Because it gets hurt defensively,
Mm.
and the only way it's effective is if Boston's turning that ball over and the Warriors are knocking down shots. That's the elixir. That's what the Warriors need. They need to get hot. They need to start hitting these threes.
So coach poses a question. So his question is Wiggins is guarding Tatum and keeping him in check. You take Wiggins off Tatum or remove him and Tatum is exploding for 40 points. Let's call out Clay. So we have another shout out. We have another call out. Ron has been calling out Wiggins. Coach wants to call Clay out. Professor, what do you think of calling out Clay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you know what I'm going to be saying. If the Warriors lose this series, mm, mm, mm. Look at y'all. Look at y'all now. I swear y'all had the most assets in the NBA for probably the past 18 months. Make a trade, Warriors. Make a trade. Y'all got all of these pieces, but y'all can get another solidified guy in there. Y'all got all these. Nope, nope, nope. We're staying pat. We like who we got, and we get to this point where it is not enough. But it's still a great team. But they should have made a move. And the sad part is they had a top three pick and drafted a big man. Man, we don't know where and at where he's
On the
at.
bench.
What's his name again? We don't even need to know his name.
James Wiseman.
Yeah, yeah, Mr. James trade package. How
And
would
then
you fit
they could have had Lonzo, not Lonzo,
LaMelo?
LaMelo.
Yeah, they botched that one. However, just to throw a wrench in there, if the
Mm-hmm.
Warriors do lose this series, how would you feel about Steph, Draymond, Clay, and Rudy Gobert?
Ooh,
Rudy
it's
Gobert is
possible.
going to make a team a top team this offseason. Somebody's going to get a great defensive center, and I hope it's a team that don't need no offense, like the Warriors.
Which I'm very sure there is being tossed around. Hopefully, maybe. So, Coach asked, say he, of course, states he knows that Clay is offensive woes, but he's supposed to be a top notch defender. But who is he locking up? Who is he locking up in Boston?
Oh no, he's not that defender anymore. No, that
Is it
Clay
any
is
more or
long
just for
gone.
the season, being that he's just coming back, or do you really legitimately think those days are behind him?
Yeah, those days are way gone. We used to be like Clay. There was nobody in the league that Clay couldn't lock up. We would see Clay guarding LeBron and keeping up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can't put Clay on Jason Tatum. you
Ain't gonna cook him.
can't put Clay on Jalen
They go,
Brown.
they go mess around and do Clay like they did Luca.
Lord have mercy. No, Clay is that's why he gotta go. Cause Steph Curry is a defensive liability. So now you got two defensive liabilities in your backcourt. Not a success. Well, it is a recipe for success because they're in the NBA Finals. So, as we're giving this shade, I don't want it to seem like tragic because this is the NBA Finals. But we're talking about being the best team. Golden State trying to establish that they are a legacy. They are a top five dynasty, and Steph's a top 10 player.
Mm-hmm.
Um, y'all not right now. We're sorry. Come again next year.
I hope they can pull it out. I do not want Boston to get another championship, but I mean,
I hate both teams, but I honestly am leaning more towards Boston because if Steph Curry gets a Finals MVP and another championship, he's gonna be looking at all the goats like LeBron. Guess what? I got four now too, buddy. What's up? We're gonna have to start talking about Steph a whole lot more. But
so
I
Coach,
think
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I think Golden State pulls out game four. What
Uh,
Coach Hunter talking about?
he basically asked. He says in Utah, is Rudy the issue or Donovan?
Neither.
What's good, Coach?
They
What's good, Coach Mike Myers,
the
Commissioner, NBA
Utah,
Commissioner.
yes sir, shout out. The Utah Jazz is a great basketball team.
Uh
Where
huh.
was there not years where they were the top seed in the West trade? they
They
were
went to the Western Conference six of
right,
3 of the last 6 years in their
right.
appearances.
But they were not good enough. They've been together for a long time and they wore wear out on each other. Donovan Mitchell literally did not pass Rudy the ball this year. So it's just like a relationship that just has to come to an end. And if I'm Utah, I blow it up. Um,
Mm. Well, they probably have to because at this point they don't have a coach, and I don't know who they would go at or who they would bring in to once again, kind of like with the same situation with the Lakers, in which we're going to have a little conversation about shortly. But just like with the Lakers, saying bring in somebody hopefully who can galvanize and bring it around to where someone like Russell Westbrook can keep. So who is it that can potentially bring who is it that the Utah can look to that's out there to bring in that maybe can be like, okay, Rudy and Donovan can work together, and I want to have them there? Or do you think it's already a conversation where it's like one of the two, most likely Rudy, needs to go to bring in other assets and that coach to do within?
Right. If Donovan is like, I want to stay in Utah, then we don't trade him. We don't care what you're offering. We'll ride with Donovan. Um, but let's play a little game with Donovan Mitchell.
Uh huh.
Who are you taking? Donovan Mitchell or Anthony Edwards?
Anthony Edwards. I'm
It is
not
not
too.
even a hard decision.
Yeah, because I'm not Donovan. I've never been like Donovan. I mean, we got to look at what I'm saying everything Donovan went through getting into the NBA when he was in Louisville, and then he gets to the NBA, and then okay, he slowly but surely starts to assert himself. Now they consider or want to see him as a superstar. I don't know that of Donovan Mitchell. He's good,
So we
great.
don't even need to play the game because you just broke him down.
So it's
He
like
said Donovan Mitchell is not it, ladies and gentlemen.
I just don't see that yet. I mean he's an asset there in Utah, but it's like is I don't well I put it like this. I don't foresee that as Utah being I don't see Donovan being that player that people like, oh yeah, I'm going to Utah to play with Donovan. That's what that's what I don't see.
Ooh. So then I am getting on the phone with the Miami Heat. I feel like they have the best package, unless you can get with Golden State, who got the most assets. Give me
Hmm.
Tyler Hero, give me Duncan Robinson, give me all y'all picks, and the Heat would probably even put a sweetener on it. They really would say y'all can take whatever y'all want except Jimmy and Bam. And then I'm trading Rudy Gobert too. I'm getting 10 draft picks and 3 good players. And we rebuild for the future.
I yeah, it's definitely maybe a point to where blow up because I don't know when I think of coaches I keep thinking Kenny Atkinson. I think Kenny Atkinson is probably one of the next coaches due to get back in the head coaching position. Uh,
Okay.
I just see that. Of course, and additionally, we got to think. Mike, I don't think Mike D'Antoni is going to be there. I think additionally, what's going to happen is Quinn Snyder is going to probably maybe uh, show up again in one place. I don't know would it be Charlotte, as we know, of course, last week or earlier in the week, supposedly Kenny Atkinson and Mike D'Antoni interviewed for the Charlotte positions. Went to go see Michael Jordan and have a conversation with him. So we don't yet have nothing else came about from those conversations or been talked about. So, uh, but I think it's just ideal to get the coach in first down, especially in that situation, before they start to determine like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Unless it's clear and understood to the coach that's incoming that okay, an offer what you just said is potentially being worked out, and you're probably not going to be with this player, this player, this player, or this player, but you will get this in return. Are you able to work with this?
Yeah.
And as a coach, if you know those things, you might think about, you know what, got it. Or it might be a situation like, nah, I had, or if you have other thoughts, it's like, well, this is what I plan to do in this situation. And like, if you can sell it, then you already know that you're basically using that to sign your name on that dotted line when you take over the organization. But of course, greener pastures. Um, going back into the MVP ladder, like we was talking about, clearly there's a clear consensus across the board from us and some of the high speeds that's out there that Jaylen Brown has solidified himself as a front runner for MVP, or especially with Boston having a 2-1 lead, especially if they go up 3-1, unless someone like Jason Tatum just goes off, or that he's gonna be there. Additionally, when you look at the ladder, as through NBA.com is where it came across. You have Jaylen Brown, number one. Number two is Steph Curry. Number three, Jason Tatum. Number four, Klay Thompson. And number five, Marcus Smart has entered himself into the fray.
Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson, yes, number four.
We are living in the age where we have no respect for defense. How many games did the Golden State Warriors win so far?
One
And how did they win that game? That
off of
was the who
Barrage.
game. That was the Draymond game.
Uh huh.
And unfortunately, Draymond's been up and down. But the Golden State Warriors won one game, and it was because of one man who came out and just gave us an all-time agonizing, defensively annoying game.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond gives no respect. Robert Williams gives no respect. I don't know how Clay's in this top five. And who was 4 or 5?
Four is Clay. Five is Brown.
No, Jalen Brown won.
Jaylen Brown's one. Oh, I'm sorry, Tatum. Smart. I'm sorry, smart.
Smart. Okay. I guess that's a
Smart.
little more
My
respect for defense. If Jalen Brown, if the Celtics won and Jason Tatum don't get this Finals MVP, oh my, they gonna be happy just celebrating. I don't think Jason's the type of cat that cares.
Yeah, I think he's fine with it. You know what I'm saying? It's because actually at the end of the day, I mean, I'm very sure he'll be fine with it. He'll parlay it some way. A 30-point game from Jason Tatum would move the needle. I think there's only three options right now: Jalen, Steph, and Jason. I don't think anyone else is in consideration right now, and that's a fair assumption, Coach. A
That's
huge
true.
game a huge game from Jalen would move the needle. I mean, not Jalen, from Jason would move the needle, but it needs to be concisive and conclude. Like it would, you know what? I would even backtrack on that statement, because a huge game will move the needle out in the driver's seat unless Jalen Brown has a game. Jalen can keep a consistency of maybe 25 and 4 or something like that, that's gonna be enough, even with a huge game from Jason. But in retrospect to that, two huge games, because we know is at least they would need another game. We'll do that, in which it'll be the whole eye test will go. Even though Jalen Brown has been the reason they are in the position they are in now, I think a game or two, a huge game from Jason, regardless of what Jalen does, will put it in place for Jalen to lose. But at this point, like you said, everyone, it's Jalen to lose at this point, in my opinion. Shout out to California, Cali, represent Jalen. Um, so yesterday, interestingly enough, there was a conversation in which was had. Taylor Rooks, shout out to Taylor Rooks, had an interview with the beloved Bradley Beal, and in that conversation, it was talked about Bradley Beal opens up in reference to the trade buzz. So, of course, it was a question that was asked. Two questions asked, actually. One of the questions was asked to him is, how does it make him feel in reference to all the talks about him being traded, or a trade to come about in reference to him? And he said his response was that it makes him feel he feels good about it. At least he know that he's wanted, and that he's enough of a player to make an impact, whether it's bringing in assets or sent away for assets. Now, now on the other question was asked was like, well, how does it make you feel when the conversation is trade Bradley to somewhere else, as opposed to being said that bring Bill in some assets to where he is. The saying trade me or bring in my team, bring him to my team. Is Bradley Beal that type of player where you can bring players to Washington or to draw players into Washington and be effective? Or does he need to be traded out to an organization in order for it to be effective?
Um, who was the last major free agent to sign with Washington?
Russ. Oh
That
well,
was a
no,
trade,
free
wasn't
agent.
it?
Yeah. Free agent. Last major free agent.
Hard to think about it. I don't know.
I don't know. I think you're right. Whew. I can't even.
It is Chocolate City. We all love Washington, but in regards to the franchise and what they've been building, they're not all that. No one's jumping to go play it for Washington. We're sorry. If that was the case, somebody would have came in a long time.
Washington has a rebuild for the last 10 years. Bradley's stock is high. I would move him for more assets, but Golden State is where I'm sending him. In that case, that sounds like Clay gets his team. Finally gets a team.
They ain't gonna last. They last.
Because I'm very sure there's no way that Bradley Beal is staying in is going to Golden State and Clay is staying there as well.
I think so. I think it'd be a Poole, Wiggins, Wiseman. Fits. I think that's what
Ooh.
ever. We all want him to. Me, you, and I want him next to LeBron. I want him in LA. That would be a great fit.
Oh
LeBron
yes,
comes
come
to
home, Clay. Come home. Oh, so Coach Rod says trade Kaminga, Wiggins, and Wiseman for Beal.
heck no. I want Poole. But
Kaminga.
regardless, that's a great trade too. The Warriors love Kaminga. Send some picks. They really can get everything. They might
Additionally,
even get
as we know the draft is coming towards the end of the year. Because the end of the month, 23rd of June, which doesn't say much, of course, when I look at it. Like I know, I know the Lakers have worked out Scottie Pippen Jr., Johnny Juzang, Remy Martin, and they're expected today to work out Sharif O'Neal, son of Shaquille
facts.
O'Neal.
So,
Yeah, they're expected to work him out today, which is maybe a little presumptuous because we really don't have any picks. So this is just, I think these are just workouts for. These are just workouts in case these cats don't get drafted. Uh,
that's just because we getting employed and we got something. We got to do something. Jimmy Butler like y'all just sitting around. Y'all better go work some play. Gee, we can't be nobody. Y'all better go work some plays.
Miami also high on Beal. Think they move Hero this summer. I don't think Hero's going anywhere, Coach. Even after everything in which Pat Riley said, I don't think Hero is.
So you don't think Miami's making a trade?
So if they was trading for Beal, I'm very sure that Hero is in that conversation. And Duncan shooters.
I feel almost 100% sure that Miami Heat get Donovan Mitchell or Bill.
Ooh, ooh, that'd be nasty. One of them with Jimmy buckets. But I definitely
Yes.
think Hero, Duncan, and even maybe Oladipo will be out the door in those instances as well. I don't see PJ Tucker leaving or Bam leaving in that case. So it remains to be seen, especially after these drafts and see where people go or where everyone's going. It's definitely going to we're going to start to see it.
Did I
everything
tell you
starts to
about my
formalize.
Kyrie trade that needs to happen?
Oh no, what is the Kyrie trade that needs to
I
happen?
I'm almost 100% sure that the Nets front office moved Kyrie because it's very clear that they're not giving him max money. No way, Jose, because we don't know. You're a huge question mark. Are we really about to give you $200 million, $40 million a year? No. Um, Kyrie Irving is returning to his big brother, Bron, in LA for Russell Westbrook. But KD don't want Russell Westbrook to come back to play with him. He left him, right?
Yeah,
So
he
what do
did.
we
He
got
left
to
him.
do, Trey? We got to call up OKC. OKC. Why not bring Russell Westbrook back to end his career? Y'all got the salary space. Y'all still rebuilding. Y'all ain't doing nothing, no major moves. Let Russ come back home, play it out, and OKC gives up something to Brooklyn. Lakers gonna have to give up that 2027 pick, some pick swaps. How you feel about that? Kyrie to the Lakers, Russell Westbrook to OKC, and the Nets getting some assets.
Mm. So Kyrie to the Lakers would mean, like you said, Westbrook leaving. Uh, then that would bring, whew, that'd be nasty. Kyrie, LeBron, and AD.
Mm-hmm. They'll probably. I could see if that was to happen. I think the Nets would be okay getting like a Malik Monk from the Lakers. Um, that's their best asset to give up. And some from OKC. A pick or two.
I can see it happen. I was against. I don't know, but if the volatility, if that comes with it, like, but I could see Kyrie in the glamour and glitz of Hollywood and being drawn in, and be like, you know what, this is a place I could get down with. Let's see. I wouldn't be
Signing off.
fearful of them kicking it around and see where it goes. But because just for me at this point, what I'm looking at for the Lakers, like what are the who are the assets in which they're getting? Like we have Kendrick. I mean, we don't. I think we have Kendrick Nunn, but would have to take a look. I know for a fact we have THT, but I have never really been big on THT. Um, Additionally, having
Oh yeah, I forgot
it's like who else do
THT.
they start to bring in, or who do they have to be like who else do they have besides that? Everyone else is out the
Lakers
door,
give up
so
THT,
it'd be that'd be
THT and Monk.
interesting.
Lakers give
Monk,
up
yeah,
Monk.
Monk, yeah, Monk, definitely Monk. He showed that he's deserving.
Or
So additionally, maybe the last topic in the NBA before we transition on, probably a early show today. Um, the New Orleans Pelicans. Of course, Vice President of Basketball Operations David Griffin was on, and he basically stated that it is an easy decision. Easy. Pay attention to Chicago. Okay, coach. We see. I see Davis or Westbrook moving on Levine and Vucevic. I, I, mm, I don't know about that. I have to put a star on this and come back to this, coach. We have to talk about this a little more in depth. But the New Orleans Pelicans and David Griffin, or David Griffin for the New Orleans Pelicans for this most part, vice president, stated that he sees it as an easy decision to pay Zion Williamson max deal money. As we know, eligible Zion Williamson is eligible for $181 million max deal in New Orleans. Of course, in other instances, that may be pretty cool. It's like, okay, well, that's what's up. Give him that money. It might be a situation where before any other time, it's like, okay, let's give him this money. But Zion has been playing for 3 years now, in which he has played a total of 85 games in 3 years. and we're talking about in which additionally, um, David Griffin said when Zion plays, he's a max deal player, and he's deserving of that. I'm not doing that. Historically, he calls him historically good. Actually, I'm not doing that. Zion, not anything against Zion, is just the business of it. Like you played 85 games. You played 85 games out of 200 games. You played 85 games, and then your fourth year, you want me to extend you with a max deal of $181 million for an additional 5 years. And of course, I know they did put in. Did say it would have to be something in reference to protect the organization in reference to that, to him and those games and his medical. But I don't know about that conversation. Ron, what do you think about that conversation? If you're David Griffin and the New Orleans Pelicans, does Zion Williamson get max 181 5 years?
Are we giving Zion the max? If Zion wants to stay in New Orleans, I'm giving him it 10 out of 10 times.
And I
He's
think
worth
that's what coach is saying as well, because
he's
it's New
he's
Orleans,
worth
small money
he's worth
market.
the risk. If Zion can come back and be old Zion, we will be talking about the New Orleans Pelicans in the championship next year. My
No,
thoughts.
not only should we extend him, but I would give him stock in the team.
Right. Zion has the opportunity to be one of the best players in the NBA, especially as it transitions away from KD, Bron, Giannis, and Curry. Next up right now is just Luca and Ja.
hmm
And Zion could definitely be better than both of them.
Oh, you
We've
think
seen what he
so?
could do. It's been so long since we've seen him be so dominant. But a couple years back when he got to get out there, oh man, he was like a remix of Charles Barkley with a splash of LeBron and was just doing everything. Oh, he there was no rebound you can get over him. He could
Uh
take the
huh.
rebound and dribble up the court like a rocket. He's fast, and just dunk on you. His bones aren't healing right though, and they'll be paying attention to that. But he should be. Bones do heal, and when they do heal, they come back stronger. He's big bodied, so it might take a little bit longer. If I'm Zion, I'm signing up for swimming classes because that's the best way to get your body conditioned, especially and not put any more wear or tear on what you got already. He'll drop a couple pounds. We good to go.
So keep it a little bit in the NBA or the NBA esque. Of course, we know the WNBA is still going on with their season. They have a 25 game season slate. Last night they had two games. Last night the Indiana Fever took on the Connecticut Sun. The Connecticut Sun were victorious 88-69 over the Indiana Fever, improving to 10-3 as the Indiana Fever dropped to 3-11. The Connecticut Suns were led by Jaquez Jones at 16 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. 18 points from Brianna Jones, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. 12 points from DeWanda Bonner, 11 points from Alyssa Thomas, 12 points from Dejanay Carrington, and 8 points from Courtney Williams. The Fevers' highest scorer was Nelissa Smith with 19.7 rebounds. Danielle Robinson, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 10 points from Queen Egbo. Victoria Vivian's 4 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 assists in 18 minutes of play. Um, as like again, Indiana victorious.
Um,
Additionally, yes, sir.
can I just steal the show from you for just
Yes,
like 60
please.
seconds?
Go
Since we
ahead, take
since
it.
we shouting out the ladies, I know Bishop isn't on today, or this topic
Ah.
would have been brought up. Was there or was there not? I'm like, we done went an hour and 15 minutes
And you
into
know
this
what?
thing.
I was supposed to lead off with that. I'm so sorry. But you know Bishop would not, Bishop would never.
We would have been
It
talking
would
about
have
that
been
for the first.
the background would have been them jumping up and holding the trophy and all that type of stuff, or it would have said
Yeah.
boom soon
Yeah,
or something
shout
like
out
that.
to Oklahoma. It was a great game. I watched some of the highlights this morning. It was incredible. The Oklahoma Sooners outfield stole a home run. They were smacking them. It was a great game. Shout out to the Oklahoma Sooners who
Yeah, of course, you know what I'm saying. They did it in grand fashion, outscoring Texas 26 to 5-6 on in 2 games, a sweep at that, showing them because we all know Texas was the only team to give them a loss in their on their historic run this year. And they just continue to assert their dominance. Softball, the uh, Oklahoma Sooners were are the women's World Series World College World Champions. So of course, I'm very sure we'll hear this again on Monday. But you know, saying they went and took care of business. And again, in the Big 12, and that's another thing that's going to happen is going to hear that talk of the Big 12 because it was to get to the championship, Oklahoma had to go through UCLA, and they took care of business. And Texas ended up there as well. Now we have it to where Oklahoma ladies, you know, so take a bow. Great season. But continue. Okay, yeah, coach. I love the NBA shifted their games to the NBA Facebook Live. It's the best way to go to for them to get exposure and have watch more games this year. Of course, but I'm one of those. Hey, son. Hmm?
special guest.
Turn the TV on for me, please. Okay, go ahead up there. I'll go back up there. I'll take care of you. Go this way.
Adorable.
Go that way. So, say what? Okay, just sit right there. I'll take care of it. Sit on the couch. So yeah, so they have it. We now have that to where to take more watch and take a look at things. I'll be interested, of course, to continue to look as you know, my beloved Sparks fired their head coach. Derek Fisher is out their job, and so they're just standing by. They have an interim in place. Of course, additionally, this other game last night, Chicago Sky, defending champion Chicago Sky, um, took on the Washington Mystics. In which Washington was victorious 84-82, improving to 8-5. Chicago drops to 7-4. Chicago Sky was led by Candace Parker, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Azura Stevens, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 11 points from Ali Quigley. Emma Messiman, 7 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist in 25 minutes of play. Kalea Cooper, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. The Mystics was led, of course, by Ariel Atkins, 19 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 18 points from Alicia Clark, 14 from Shakira Austin, there was 6 rebounds to boot, uh, 11 points from Natasha Cloud, 5 rebounds and 5 assists. But interestingly enough, in 7 minutes of play, I assume that she went down with an injury. Elena Deladon, 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists as last night. But again, Washington Mystics were victorious. And it's a nice game. Of course, as Coach just said, you can catch the games on Rain. Everyone's being saying good morning to you. Of course, you can catch the games like you said on Facebook Live. Coach says Candace Parker, the greatest player in the play in University of Tennessee. You would have had Shamika's Holesclaw, Tamika Catchings, but I think that's a fair assumption. Candace Parker, most definitely. Probably Candace Parker, the best from University of
That's
Tennessee.
that's easy, right?
Yeah. Tonight's slate of games, of course, the Liberty, the Fever, Indiana Fever take on the Liberty tonight. Chicago Sky will face off against Connecticut Sun. That should be a good game. The Seattle Storm will do battle with the Dallas Wings. The Washington Mystics will take on the Minnesota Lynx, and the Atlanta Dream will face off against the Phoenix Mercury, as the Mercury are not having the greatest seasons without their one of their key players in Brittany Griner, BG, as she is still in Russia. Uh, so that still remains, of course, like we continue to say, free Brittany Griner, get her back here into the States. And then, of course, tomorrow, a great game as we look forward to seeing the Aces and the Sparks play. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the Aces and the Sparks play. So that saying that keeping in the Title IX, saying we love our ladies, and making sure we give them their just due. That time is coming again where we have it, as you already know, the United States women's soccer team has built the opportunity to be equally paid as the men's team. So we should see more of that coming at some point if we're able to make that the session. So shout out ladies again, of course. Women in sports should be more should be a little more prevalent. Um, NFL talks. Ron, your
Woo, we done
man,
made it to the league.
your man, Peyton Manning has been offered. Yes, coach, definitely. Aces and Sparks will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Let's go, Liz. Um, Peyton Manning has been offered an opportunity to take on a role within the organization by the new group, the Walton Penner Group, which of course we know bought the Denver Broncos for a whopping $4.5 billion. Uh, as additionally with the advisory role that they're looking to give him, he also gets a little stake in the franchise. Although Peyton Manning did say he appreciates that he lives in Denver, but he also stated that he kind of likes what he does now, and he doesn't know if he would want to actually take part of that. He had to look at that. Ron, if this was you, are you jumping at the opportunities like to get some stake in this as well as advisory role, with the organization which you won the last Super Bowl? Are you rocking? Are you doing this? What up, Frat? What's going on?
With what organization?
Denver Broncos
Oh, without a doubt. Blue roll?
advisory role and potentially a stake in the organization as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I want to know what this stake is though. 5%? I'm taking that. Man, you set up for life. Um, which Peyton Manning already is, but to have ownership in the NFL team is just different. So yeah, I don't know how to deal with signed already. What you guys think about Peyton?
And he like he said he likes what he does now. Basically, he said he's like he still has a connection to football, but he likes what he does now at the end state. So additionally, something interesting enough came up, and Pete Carroll talked to how he believes that a deal definitely will be done with DK Metcalf because, of course, the Seattle Seahawks organization is notorious for going after players in which they want to have in their organization. However, he doesn't know when that deal would get done because usually they do extensions towards the summer, towards the end of the summer, in which DK Metcalf wants it now so he can get back in to camp. So, do you see a situation to where they're going to make an exception for DK to get him in the cap, or do they continue with the same their same line of trajectory in what they have done over the course of the of years when it comes to their extensions and free agents and free agents or resignings? I'm sorry.
I think they're gonna stick to the Seattle ways.
I
That's
would
what
too.
that's
Yeah.
why Russell Wilson's not there anymore. I think they should trade DK. Of course, if they would have, they would have traded him before the draft, but it's never too late because he is definitely top five wide receiver, and he will bring in something. And what are you going to be doing with him there? Going 3-14, losing to the 49ers twice, right, Trey? 40 the
Yes.
49ers, the Rams. They're going to go 0-6 in the division.
I don't know if they're going to oversee. I can see them maybe at of 1-5, maybe two and
One,
four. Yeah,
they're
one
going
and
to
five
beat
and two and
they're
four.
going to
Yeah.
beat the Cardinals. They
Yes,
going they going they going to surprise the Rams or the 49ers. They're going to
I,
get
I
one.
do I do I do think that they're going to surprise one of them too, and so they can even maybe go three. You know what I'm saying? But I don't foresee them having a winning record. It's even or losing. But it's I just don't see it. Or they may not. They might just like you said. They may go 0-6. Cardinals could maybe count those as two definite wins. So it remains to be seen. But definitely, like you said, he's going to get there. I'm not. as long as he gets traded, unless he's getting traded to, as long as he gets traded out of the division, I'm fine with it. If he does something for somehow, some way, they find a way for him to end up in Los Angeles, we got problems. We're
They
not
ain't trading no dang DK for the Rams.
if they find a way. I don't know how, but if they find a way to slip and do that, then we got problems. We got to slip and take a look at how the NFL investigates other people. We need to investigate the NFL on how some of these deals is going down.
I do feel like the Rams is gonna make another big acquisition throughout the season.
Hmm.
It's gonna be some player that becomes available, just kind of like how they did Von Miller, because they're hungry. They got 2 more years of Aaron Donald's prime to make another run. So why not? But if DK was to come, Lord have mercy. I feel like the Packers will be interested, Chiefs, and hopefully the Baltimore Ravens. That's where I want him to go. I want
That's
DK
would
to
be
play there for a while.
yeah, I could get down with that. Getting the
Trade
Baltimore,
him
get
outside of the
Lamar,
conference. Oh, that would be so
yeah,
sexy.
get Lamar some help. And like you said, outside the conference, we ain't got to see him unless we got to see him in the championship. I take that. Speaking of wide receivers, maybe a lesser, but it is a conversation. Um, Hunter Renfro of the Las Vegas Raiders has been given an extension of $32 million for 2 years with a $21 million guarantee. He was due to make $2.5 million next year. They went ahead and decide to extend him, so now he's added 2 years to his contract with 21 million guaranteed 32, going from 2.4 base salary to now 16 million in 2 years. Not too shabby in a sense. He's only like just a little over under 10 million off of what the reset market is for the wide receiver position. Uh, Hunter Renfro, do you feel that that's he was deserving of that and that he's worked for that? Now he
How
has an
much they give
opportunity.
him?
32 million 2 years, 16 million a year.
Wow, that's a lot of money. That's top wide receiver. Well, I guess how much? I don't got time to look at. I think the top Adams got is getting like close to 24. So is Cooper Cup.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a little
Well,
bit under the
Cooper gets
max line.
25. Yeah, Cooper. Yeah.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Cooper gets 25. I had to. I'm looking at what Adams getting now.
that's
So yeah,
seven
but he.
million under the max. You
Yeah,
want to
so he
lock
was.
him in.
Yeah, so
You
it's
got
like
Devonte
interesting.
Adams, and Devonte Adams even is not even the best receiver on the Oakland Raiders. That's their tight end Waller. Waller is a different animal.
That means Water should be due for a payday soon.
Right. We forget about him when we talk about the Raiders because we've been so focused on Adams. They gonna be woof. That's an offense right there,
As we
and they
talked
got a
about,
good running back.
yeah, Jacobs.
They gonna
We
be a
had we
problem.
had we had conversations that they're probably going to be a problem. They're probably going to be a problem. The AFC West, for the most part, is going to be a problem.
Yeah, they gonna be beating the dog piss out of each other all year. And I'm gonna love it. And I think the Chiefs. It's so far fetched to say, but they should come in last in the division.
You would think that if they're able to parlay some more to a second place or first place in the Washington, my hat is off to Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and all that type of stuff because that's not right now on paper. It's not looking too good for them. Although they did recover a little bit with a couple of acquisitions, but I want to see it. I'm so ready for the NFL to start back. Um, Unfortunately, though, Detroit wide receiver Jameis, newly acquired in the number 12 pick in the NFL draft, Jameson Williams is going to be doesn't seem like he's going to be ready for spring camp as he's recovering from his ACL surgery still. Um, so what was expected initially is now not expected. Uh, do you think I don't know. I was about to say, do you think that that is going to make you much of a difference? But I mean, was Detroit expected to be a little more of a competitor this year? Although they were in games last year. They definitely was in games last year, but it was to no avail. Like there's no participation award for being in games when you're not winning games. But do you see this as a huge blow to Detroit as Jameson Williams isn't going to be there?
The Lions?
Yes, sir.
We talking about the Lions?
Got it.
Ain't the whole franchise a
Duly
hoop
noted.
blow? What position does Williams play?
He's a wide receiver. The wide receiver that got injured in the national championship game.
Oh, they drafted him.
Yeah, they drafted him.
Did they know they don't got nobody throwing the ball?
They got
It's fine.
Jared Goff.
Take as much time as you need. I'm excited to see Hutchinson on the defense though. Hopefully they put some good stuff around him. But
Everyone keeps on talking about Hutchinson, like he's due to make a good payday.
he should have got a good payday. Well, he wasn't the number one. He was number two. But let's see if he really about this life because we've seen some great young defensive linemen come out and in their first year cause a ruckus. Chase Young,
Hmm.
the dude that the Browns took. Um, and we should see the same thing from Hutchinson. That he could change Detroit all around. But Williams, you can take as much time as you need. You can take the whole year off because we don't got nobody to throw you the ball. We'll have a quarterback next year once we figure out.
Once you figure out. So of course the coach talks about AFC has the best QBs. Next decade is going to be fun. That coming from a bona fide Chicago Bears fan. Uh, better than Justin Fields, coach. That's what you're telling us. That Patrick Mahomes. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So Derek Carr. I guess let's start there. Derek Carr. Oh, then Russell Westbrook's the other one. So Okay, so Derek Carr is better than Justin Fields. I guess so. Yeah. I guess
Right
so.
now,
Oh, so you see this up? You think it's upside for Justin Fields or Ron?
yeah, but Chicago ain't taking care of him.
Mm,
I don't know what they doing. They gave away. We ain't even gonna talk about Chicago. They don't
yes.
deserve our time. But Derek Carr, I love him. He's he brings more to the team outside of being a quarterback. Like he, do we not forget what Oakland went through the past season?
Yes. And he was
That
there.
man, that man needs a promotion, but there ain't no higher role than quarterback. He holds it down. He's the staple, and just a couple years ago, he was in the runnings for MVP before he had that injury. So I'm a big Derek Carr fan.
I agree, Coach. I when I thought just that quick that Russell Westbrook, Russell Wilson was there in um in Seattle. So yeah, my apologies. So as we get closer, I say to call it a day for today, I will like to bring up the fact of Virginia's Commonwealth General Board has basically tabled the talks in reference to um, voting on applying assistance to the Washington Commanders in reference to building a new stadium. Of course, uh, it's no hidden secret that the Washington Commanders have been enthralled in the tumultuous uh, last couple of years as they have a little more and more things coming out of the woodworks. Of course, they was their owner was moved initially a couple of years ago from day to day operations due to a findings of a bad work environment. And then, of course, here we come 2 years later, they're enthralled into another bad work environment situation. Not to mention, a year after that, another situation pops up in reference to their work environment. And now, this year, here we have it. It has been found that now Congress is looking at them because there's supposedly some improprieties financially, as has been said or found allegedly that they kept two sets of books and he's basically been siphoning money from the NFL against their agreement. So Virginia's Commonwealth is basically like, well, we're gonna hold off on this talks about building another stadium because it's just too much going on around the organization. Uh, Coming back to this, Ron, I see coaches already replying. Um is it time for a new owner in Washington?
Been time. But the NFL is not the NBA. Like how they voted out
Yeah.
Donald,
Yes.
they ain't. There's not gonna be at least. What they gotta have 10 people to vote the teams out of
24.
here.
24.
They need 24 people to vote
It
them
has to be.
out.
Yeah, it has to be 24 to vote him out.
There's just no way. They're all in the billionaire boys club.
Mm.
They're all the same fraternity. They kick it. How and clearly, no matter what tragic things happen in the NFL, the product is not going to be devalued. So I don't think it goes anywhere. Maybe the NFL can convince him to kind of like disappear. I don't know, but I don't see them voting against him. No way.
Definitely one of those things. I hope. I think it's. I think if the right owners get to talking, then we probably have a movement. Of course, those right owners being the Crafts, but then again, maybe not because there's probably a couple of things that are out there that don't need to be discussed and talked about. And it's like if you sit up and start rattling some cages and trees, then you get some other stuff that starts falling out, in which other owners have to deal. When you talk about owners like Cleveland, the Haslam's in Cleveland's, and the owners in Miami, and the things and where we have these lawsuits that are at in reference to. So I definitely think that it's probably the best practice for certain owners to stay quiet in order to stop their stuff from hitting the fan as well. So I think you may just be right, Ron, in that session. So of course that today is going to be on our time. this this element for me is starting to kick my butt, but of course, we greatly appreciate y'all being with us this morning. Of course, we look forward to talking with y'all about more coming next week. We should have, of course, me and Ron will be here. Bishop should be back from his vacation, so we can hear that experience, the Vegas experience. NBA, hold up, let me see. The NBA teams are worth $2 billion. If the teams are double that, telling me to go away for $4 billion is not a bad option. Is it, Coach? When you think about that before I shut this down, because when you think about it, true enough, a pay of $4 billion or more may not be. But what about what you've been making over time? Like I'm very sure in 5 to 6 years, a team, unless you're just badly run, you make about in assets, especially when taking the revenue sharing and all that type of stuff. But a one time or a huge payment that would equal out to $4 billion without any residuals or any underlying stuff may not be as bad. So I guess I can see, but maybe that's a topic for us to take a look at that. I need to do a little more digging into the last couple teams that's been sold. Of course, like you said, the last team sold in the NBA was the Minnesota Timberwolves, just a little over 2 billion, and then of course the NFL franchise goes for 4 5 billion, or close to 5 billion. So it remains to be seen. But like I said, we'll be back here Monday, having conversations, going over. By that time, at least the game 4 would have been played for the championships. I know there's a UFC fight. Of course, the Sparks and the Aces do battle again. Uh, a lot of to still be talked about. I'm very sure some moves in football, maybe some talks in reference to whatever happened to Sean over the course of the weekend. So it should be some talks. Ron, any parting words, brother, before we get up out of here?
I think Golden State holds it down tonight. Big game by Steph. Uh, of course, I said the same thing for game 3, but their backs is up against the wall, and the Warriors have no option but to put it all out there, go all out, and tie this 2-2 and bring it back to the Oracle.
Mm-hmm. So of course I'm in the rip with that sentiment. I'm hoping the Warriors can tie it up, take it back to Oracle, take care of business at Oracles, and put themselves back in the driver's seat to win um, to get to put that pressure on Boston to have to win. Um, Greatly appreciate y'all again. Like I said, look forward to see y'all next week. As you know, always here Monday through Friday, 09 to 1100 hours. Now you can catch us, of course, on the E2G Sports Network's Facebook page, YouTube page. Y'all can catch us on the our own YouTube page, First Formation, our own Twitter as well. Now, of course, our own Facebook page as well. At some point, we're probably going to transition to specifically that Facebook page and YouTube page. But of course, y'all know when that time comes. But for now, y'all be able to rock us here and see us here, and look forward to see y'all tomorrow. So at this point, show attention. Dismiss. We look forward to see y'all tomorrow. Enjoy y'all day. Look forward to talking to you. Bye bye.